How you doing? It's Martin Lopez from the Curiosity Theory, and I wanted to share with you something that just happened a couple minutes ago. And I got a call from a bank. My wife and I are applying for a home equity line of credit, and we're going to do some improvements on the house. And the guy calls me from the bank, the loan officer calls me from the bank, and he says this to me: "We got your loan going." And I asked him, I said, "Well, what does that mean?" And he said, "We got your loan going." He was like more excited about it the second time he said it. And it made me think, like, if that's the way he communicates with people, well, how does that leave people? So I asked him, I said, "Do you mind?" His name's John. I said, "John, do you mind if I give you some coaching?" He knows that I'm a loan officer as well, and I coach other loan officers and real estate agents and other salespeople in sales. And he said, no problem. Yeah, I'm totally open to it. And I said, "John, are you married?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm married." I go, "You got kids?" He goes, "Yeah, I got kids." I said, "Today is Friday going into the Labor Day weekend, right?" And he goes, "Yes." I said, "Great." I said, "If you were buying a house, you and your wife were buying a house, and I called you up Friday afternoon and I said, 'Hey, I just want to let you know, we got your loan going.' And then I left it at that, right? And then you went and spoke to your wife tonight, and you then told her what Martin said, we got your loan going. What would your wife say?" And he thought about it for a second. He said, she'd want to know what that meant. And I said, "Great." I said, "What would your wife want to know?" And he said, she'd want to know if our loan was approved or not approved. I said, "Great. So, John, is our loan approved or not approved?" And he said, "Your loan's approved." I said, "That's terrific. That's great news." I said, "What did you learn out of this?" And he said that I got to change the way I'm talking. And I said, "Absolutely." I said, "Because what you're saying, this 'we got your loan going,' that makes sense to you. Because you have the context. You know that the loan's been approved. You know that you've looked at the paperwork. You know that the appraisal came in. You know all that." I had no idea. It's a home equity line. It's not like a regular loan where, you walk people through the whole process. This is Friday, and I applied for it on Tuesday. So what I suggested to him is he listened to what he says lands for people. For instance, if I say something to somebody and they kind of go, "What?" then I want to clarify what I'm saying. If somebody says "what," I want to then clarify. Then I then know that what I said didn't click for them. Now they're having to use energy to figure out what I'm saying. So if I have a client that is trying to understand me, I am not communicating clearly because they are working to hear what I'm trying to convey. It's just like any other relationship. When I'm dealing with my children, if I say something to my kids and they look at me like I'm crazy, I didn't communicate in the way that they listen, because it doesn't make sense to them. Now, if what I'm talking about, let's say it could be something like easy as like, let's get the kitchen clean, let's water the yard, take the trash out, clean your room, all those things that we push back against, at least my kids push back against, that there's a way that I can speak to them that has them be empowered to do it, because they're going to do it anyways. They're going to clean the room. They're going to take out the trash. They're going to water the plants in the front yard and in the backyard. They are going to do this. They know they're going to do this. They know they're going to clean the kitchen. But what they do is they push back. So I take the responsibility and I take the opportunity of being able to communicate that with them, of being the person that is doing the communication. So the responsibility, the opportunity, it's on me. I've got to be the one that communicates that communication to my children so that they will do it. Now, I don't like pushback, right? I don't like pushback. In the conversation I had with John, there was pushback. I asked him, "What do you think about the way that I responded?" And he said, "Wow, I didn't feel comfortable." He felt like he had done something wrong. And that was the first time. And I said, "Yes, and that is what clients experience. And that's why clients don't come back, because their experience is visceral. It actually occurs in the body. Our experience our physical experience to the things that we experience in life tell us if it's good or bad, if we want to go back and do that. Do we want to go back and do business with this person again? Because I felt this way when I was doing business with them. So if I feel, let's say, in the Curiosity Theory, we have something we call yum and yuck. So yum is when we feel good about something, right? Yuck is when we don't feel good about something. right? We feel yum when things are going our way and good, and we feel yuck. And this yum and yuck is constantly in play. This yum yuck situation, this yum yuck feeling is always in play for us because we're human beings. We're being in relationship to the whole world and the universe, right? And so when we see something, when we observe something happening, whether it's happening directly to us or we can see it happening out there, we have a feeling about that. We have something to say about everything. You probably have something to say about this video. It's 5 minutes and 31 seconds. You may be saying, yuck, this is terrible. This guy's a knucklehead. You may say that, or you may be on the other side and say, yum, this is good information. I want to take it out and I want to change the way that I'm relating to people in the world and then have more powerful relations and have more powerful communications. That might be, but it's up to you, yum or yuck. But it's up to me to say something clearly so it makes sense. So if this lands with you, then it's a yum for me and I'm clearly communicating. If it's not landing for you, if you're like, this is crazy, this is dumb stuff, who is this guy? Then I am not doing my job. Now this is the thing. In the curiosity theory, we talk about something called the 10-80-10 rule. And the 10-80-10 rule says that 10% of the people that we communicate with are going to easily get our message. I should get a darker pen. 10% of the people that we communicate with are going to easily hear our message because those people like us. Those people enjoy talking to us, that we're on the same frequency. And the reason they hear us and the reason that works is something we call the winning formula. And the winning formula is the way that we put life together. It's our persona. It's how we relate to life. It's how we act to life. It's how we communicate, all that. And if you look at statistics, that winning formula only lands with about 10% of the people out there. So on the other side, there's another 10% of the people out there that they absolutely don't like us. They are not happy with us. That's these yuck people, right? This is yum and that's yuck. So the people that are yuck and they don't like my message, they don't like me, they don't want to hear about me, and it's just, that's the way it is. They're just people like that. There's like haters, you know, haters, they see me, they hate me immediately. But there's also people that see me and they love me immediately. That's really cool. So I tap in, and if I want to keep my business going, I want to tap into that 10% and keep building that 10%. But if we look and see, where's this gap right here? What is this gap that's here? This is 80% of the people out there. And these people can take you or leave you. These are the people that they're not upset with you. They don't dislike you, but they're not in love with you. They don't have any particular affinity to you, but they don't have any animosity as well. So these are the people that can, like you said, just take you or leave you. So the goal of the curiosity theory and the goal of being curious in conversations is to tap into this group. And the reason why we want to use that is because this group of people, this 80% of people, are not being talked to in their language. See, we say, we got your loan going. Well, there's 10% of the people that are going to completely understand that and be okay with that communication. Well, in this situation, I was here. When John said to me, we got your loan going, I was in this situation. I wasn't upset with him. I'm grateful that he's doing the loan. But am I going to refer him my friends? No. Because if I went home, and as a matter of fact, I just talked to my wife, and she called because she's on lunch break, and she said, how's everything going? And I said, everything's going good. I got a call from John at the bank, and he goes, hey, what did he say? He said, we got your loan going. And I did that on purpose, and she says, what does that mean? And I said, our loan's approved. So I tested that out. I tested out my little theory, and immediately it was like, what? What are you talking about? There was no clarity. She did not understand what it is I'm talking about. And this is incredibly important when it comes to business. We've got to understand in communication and business that we are going to connect with 10% of the people out there. 10% are absolutely not going to connect with us, and 80% are going to sometimes connect with us, not always connect with us, but they're going to have to do the work for that. So the curiosity theory, what we're talking about is let's be curious. Let's be curious to tap into this group. Be curious of how we're coming across. Be curious of what we're saying and use that curiosity to tap into this 80% of people that don't have 100% clarity in what we're saying. And what we want to do is we want to be curious and ask them questions. For instance, I'm curious, what do you think I mean? Or I'm curious, you know, for instance, in this conversation with John, I asked him, I said, I'm curious, what does that mean? We got your loan going. Well, what he said is, again, the same thing. He said, we got your loan going. So I could have walked away being very frustrated, and then this weekend had a conversation with my wife, and then she would have been frustrated because we would have gone through this 3-day weekend, right? We would have gone through the 3-day weekend with her going, what the heck does that mean? We got your loan going. And she's going to ask me over and over and over and over, like, what does that mean? But I sought out the clarity. But it was me seeking out the clarity. What I'm suggesting is that as salespeople, as just communicators, you can be a school teacher, you can be a principal, you can work in the janitor's office. You can do anything, but seek out the clarity. Notice when people are pushing back just a little bit, and we call that conflict. We've created a little bit of conflict, a little bit of pushback. Then you want to do is seek out. So you want to take a second and seek out what it is that person is hearing. What are they hearing? So one example could have been, let's say I was the person that said that. Let's say I was the person that called a client. I said, hey, we got your loan going. And they would have said, what does that mean? So what it means is I would stop, right? And I would say that what I communicated, I would know that in an instant, that way that I communicated with him doesn't work for them because they're having to work. So I'm going to be real specific in my communication. I call him up and say, hey, John, it's Martin Lopez. I just want to let you know it's Friday and we got your loan approved. Let's go over your conditions. You see how that works? The difference in that communication? It's real simple. And I'm not saying that you don't know this. What I'm asking you to do is to look in different parts of your life where you're using a phrase that works for you but doesn't work for other people. And how in the curiosity theory, how this works in the curiosity theory is that when we go beyond our winning formula when we use curiosity, and then we start to tap into this other 80% of people that need something different than our winning formula, the way that we explain things, the way that we're used to doing it, the easy way for us. The winning formula is the way that we developed, how we communicate, how we explain ourselves, how we present ourselves in the world. And it doesn't work for everybody. Now, what I do I'm all winning formula right now. You understand? So I am a teacher, I am a business person, and I speak in winning formula because I speak all the time. I speak 2, 3, or 4 times a week, and I'm teaching people. So I'm constantly in the winning formula of a teacher or a trainer or a loan officer. That's my winning formula. What I need to do, and what I do as often as I can, as I'm constantly doing actually, is I'm being curious of how it's landing over there. Now, when I'm doing a video, I don't really know how it's landing, right? So I need feedback. Human beings, we need feedback. It's what we do with the feedback that tells us how we're going to be successful. So I'm going to tell you one more thing and then invite you to give me a call and connect with me, and so we can work on it. If you're finding that your sales are like a little bit below where you want them to be and you want some personal coaching, I want to invite you to give me a call and let's see, and we do what they call a strategy session. We do a one-time call, it's 30 minutes, and then we decide if we're a good fit for each other. So one of the things that happens in business I want to share with you right now is as we're going through the curiosity theory, as we're approaching the situations that we're in, and let's say navigating through here, what happens to us is we naturally become defensive. Because I say something to somebody, we got your loan going, the person's like, what are you talking about? And then immediately we go into that reptilian mode of protecting, like, what do you mean? Like, and we're not present. We're not present in the situation because just a little thing like that often feels like an attack for so many people. And it might not be that thing for you, but there are things. Let me give you an example. Let's say you had a great week. You had an awesome week. This is the best week of your life. Things are going good. And you get a call from your spouse. And she says, hey, we need to talk. What's that like? I ask that question in my programs all the time, and people go, oh my God, that's crazy. I think I'm in trouble, right? So little things that people say, we interpret, and then we do something with it, and immediately it causes a reaction in ourselves. So it may not be that you say, we got your loan, but there are things that we say, myself, and I would want to encourage you to look and see if there's things that you say, and those things cause conflict. And what we do with conflict, for the most part, is respond one of three different ways. We either want to fight our way through it. We gotta fight our way through it like I'm gonna say, we got your loan going. We got your loan going. We got your loan going. What about that? Do you not understand? We got your loan going. Or we freeze and we don't say anything. Or we run. So that's a fight, flight, or freeze mechanism. That has to do with our reptilian reactions. And that's automatic. This reptilian reactions have been with us for thousands of years, if not millions of years, okay? And it's how we survive. And so when we get a call from our spouse that says we need to talk, what we do is we go into what we call survival mode. And that happens in regular business calls. That happens if your boss calls you in and says, hey, I want to talk to you. The immediate reaction oftentimes is, oh my God, what did I do? So the curiosity theory and approaching your life from curiosity is it gives you the ability to step back and not react in that reptilian manner. But be open to seeing what other possibilities are here. Maybe I'm just going to be neutral. My wife said we need to talk. Well, why don't I just ask her what she wants to talk about? Be neutral going in there. My boss says, hey, can you come and meet with me this weekend? Or this Friday, I need to talk to you Friday at 4. I'm getting fired. Maybe I just neutrally figure out what it is. I had a real estate company that I was working with for about 6 years. And I got a call from the broker of the real estate company, and he actually sent me a text, and he said, hey, I need to talk to you tomorrow. And I said, I got it, great. I was like, okay. He said, are you ready? Are you available at 10? And I said, yeah, I'm available at 10. And I was just neutral. I figured I'm just going to be neutral and find out what was going on. And I said, can you just tell me what's going on? He goes, yeah, I'd rather talk to you tomorrow. And I said, great. So I was thinking I was going to get fired, right? Well, that's not what happened. I was neutral, and I said, hey, listen, I'm not really good at not knowing what we're going to talk about, so would you mind sharing with me? And he goes, yeah, but you have to keep it a secret. And I said, okay. And he said, we're going to be launching this new program, and I want you to be the guy that teaches everybody about the program. So I said, great, no problem. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10. Thank you very much. So before I would be just nervous all night. But what I did is I had to take care of myself in that moment to deal with me as a human being that knows how my brain's going to work. Now, you may be completely different, but what I wanted to do that day is deal with myself as a human being, knowing how my brain's going to work, knowing how I'm going to think of bad things and try to go through all these little scenarios. Instead, what I did is I just used curiosity, and I just asked a question to the broker. He answered the question back in the way that was good for him. He said, you got to keep it a secret. He didn't want to tell me right then because it was a secret, you see. So had I been defensive and said, what did I do wrong? What's going on? I would have went down a whole different road and created a situation that didn't even exist. And that happens in life. We do that over and over and over in our lives, don't we? So I want to invite you to have a conversation with me if you have some time. If you stuck out this 18 minutes and 23 seconds of the video, I want to thank you very much. And if you've hung out with me this long, I'm going to give you a gift. I'm going to give you a gift of my book, an audio of my book. So I'm going to ask you, if you've been in this, and if you watch this whole video, I'm going to give you a gift of the audio. Just send me a private message and ask for the link, and I'll send you a link to be able to download the Curiosity Theory for free. And it's the audio book. So I want to thank you very much. And my name is Martin Lopez from the Curiosity Theory. And I want to thank you for hanging out with me. Take care. Bye.